That don't make any difference.
He was fixing our property, placing his hands for the wheelchair place and stuff. And he was told by Jack, and it was Jackie.
I've seen this office, but there's an issue about it.
I said, you want to take it all the price of this?
There's a short minute between around 10 o'clock, maybe get out of 5 minutes.
Sure. You got an emergency policy? Today?
Last
Not
series. She's.
All right, let's get started since we're already a minute late. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jared, would you offer prayer?
God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together today and do the business of the county. We pray that you give the commissioners wisdom as they guide the county and make decisions that impact us all. We ask you to watch over our county employees and to protect them. Pray, Father, for those that were injured in an accident yesterday. We ask you to bless this county and to allow us to show forth your life. Pray in Jesus.
Well, good morning. I've reviewed last week's minutes. Make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. David?
All right, I think I emailed you and told you a little bit. We have actually 2 claims runs, but one of them we discovered an error. We had entered the wrong vendor. So we had to void that check and do another run to replace it. So the total on the first one, it's the $345, $358 is the grand total for these, but the second run's going to show, where is it? $40,509.41, but it's also included in that first one.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We approve the claims.
In that amount. It's been moved. I'm seconding it. Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
We've also been looking for someone to take over as the treasurer for Scott Township. And I was up there election day talking to the ones that were working, and they called around and found someone. And I'm not positive how to pronounce this name. It's Doris. I don't know if it's McElreath or
McElry.
Okay. But she has agreed to take that, so I would just need a motion to appoint her as the Scott Township treasurer.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I have the sheriff's monthly fee report.
Monthly fee is $5,110.
And we just need a motion to approve that.
Danny, make a motion.
What was the total price?
$5,110.
That's my motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
I have the park report for your review.
This is always fun to read. For the month of October, receipts, $27,202.51. And it shows expenditures of 0. I don't know how that's possible, but
Did I not get that on there? No.
No, go one down, one more.
Oh,
Your receipt is 34.
I got you. I got you. Let me go back again. Receipts. Well, I don't even know what. Oh, that was capital outlay. All right. Receipts for the month of October was $34,009.59. Expenditures were $14,167.89. For the year, the receipts for the year, $254,111.73. Expenditures, $229,993.83. A lot better.
All right, a couple other things. I don't know if Sheriff's planning on coming over or not. I don't have anything from him yet on numbers for the week. I do have copies of our levy sheets. I don't know if you guys care to have these or not, but this is a sheet I have to do every year to send in to the state, and Janet's actually going to send a copy to you to publish front page. But the front side of that shows every levy for all the taxing districts in the county.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pass.
And the back side shows comparison from last year to this year on each taxing unit. So just as an example, like in Mound City, that's unit 03. And if you look at the back, it'll show the levy for last year and for this year and the percentage it went down. So it's just, I just thought for you guys' information, most of the levies went down around the county this year. I think the only ones that went up were the ones that have Pleasanton School District in them, because they had a pretty substantial increase, so that drove theirs up. Overall, most things are down on the levy.
That it?
Other than that, I don't know if you want to get into that pay request yet, or when you want to handle that from River City, but I think Gary had it.
Well, let's talk to Bill first. Come on up, Bill.
Bill Matlock, River City, weekly update. Progress on the buildings come along pretty good. Last week, we set all your HVAC rooftop units. That's another good milestone. That'll let the roof complete 100% now. We're closing in on the masonry on the exterior and the interior. Getting down to the last few partitions on the interior for him. We're going to focus on the exterior. Try and get it closed in, get the EFS done, and the stone done, so we can start temporary heat, close the building in for the winter. Inside, framing is, partition walls is coming along great. We're ahead of the schedule there. We're actually topping out with drywall. All the mechanical rough ends are in process. Everything's looking good there. We've got electrical rough ends, pulling permanent power in throughout the building. So we're coming along pretty good. We were a little behind on schedule on the exterior, but we're ahead of schedule on the interior. We have started parking and drive coming in from the west. You'll start seeing curb and gutter go in along Spruce Street, and the entrance from the west will start paving. You'll start seeing the exterior site work between now and the end of the year till weather gets us progressing quite well, I think. So
Right now, the date for substantial completion is March 7, I think.
I don't know the exact day. It's in March. Yeah. Pretty much hasn't changed from the original date. Maybe.
Weathers have been working with us so far.
Yeah. Well, we had some delays last winter weather-wise, but we picked up and on the interior stuff, so we're still looking good.
You like to think it's good management.
No, that's what they say anyway, isn't it? What you got?
I don't have anything.
What you got?
See some of them working on the weekends and things.
Yeah, we've got some guys trying to beat weather on the weekend on the exterior, things like that, so you'll see a little bit of that.
What you got? You say you got something?
No, just that pay request, their monthly pay request is in front of you there.
Want highlighted? Yellow? Is that what you was gonna talk about,
Yep, that's what he.
David? Is that what you mean? And was this in the bill?
It's not in the bills yet. It'll be.
It's gonna be in next week's bill.
But if you approve it now, then it'll already be on the record.
And have we gotten anywhere with Larry on the,
David, you're talking about the reimbursement?
yeah.
It's supposed to be coming. David said we haven't got it yet, but they said it was coming.
And we haven't done anything to really pay him either, right?
Right. We're holding off on that.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen it. It just has nothing to do with what we're paying him. This is
Right.
just- yeah.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the payment to River City in the amount of $1,771,309.78. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. There you go. You get paid. You don't have to go.
These guys will be happy to get food again this week.
That's right.
Fix the truck.
Yeah, fix the truck, everything.
He's gonna make you walk across the street and go to the church there and get some food. But you're good now.
All right, thank you, guys.
Melissa, come on up. Let's put her in shock right away.
Well, my name is Missy Lancaster, and I'm the new administrator at Linn County. And I don't have a whole lot to report because I've only been there a week. The state is out of Moderna vaccine right now. We have enough. We're fine. But we cannot order any at this time. But we're still sitting good. They've reached the ordering cap for the state.
Smile.
I hate to have my picture taken. We've reached the ordering cap and they're requesting more. So hopefully we'll get some more. We did not get our shipment for last week, but we're still fine. What's that? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I thought somebody said something. Pfizer was approved last Wednesday for children aged 5 to 11 for the COVID-19 vaccine. So I talked to Dr. Allen. He is in favor of starting that, but only at the health department. No satellite clinics.
Okay.
So we need to see if we want
So-
to proceed with ordering.
Parents can bring their kid in if they wish to get them vaccinated.
Age 5 to 11.
Starting when?
Well, we would order. The order has to be in by 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and we would get it the next week. So it'd be the week
Okay.
after next. And I figured we wouldn't advertise until we had vaccine in hand. But I saw on the news this morning that now there's a shortage.
Sure.
Yeah, so
What about boosters? Talk to us about boosters, because somebody's going to ask me.
boosters are still going. We schedule them every Wednesday and Friday. We give about, depending on how many nurses we have, between 40 and 80 if we have one nurse or if I'm able to help that day or if Vicky or someone is there. So we're doing at least 40 a day, if not 80, on Wednesdays and
We've been doing
Fridays.
them, or we haven't started yet?
Oh, yeah, we've been doing them
Been
for a
doing
while.
them, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if last week was the first week, but we did them last Wednesday and Friday. Last Wednesday afternoon and all day on Friday. And that's the same thing we're going to do this.
Do they actually come into the clinic and do it, or do they just come up to?
We have a few that we go out to the car.
Okay.
But for the main part, yes, they come in because they have to wait 15 minutes afterwards. So we have an area set up.
And then what about flu shots?
Still giving them.
Still giving them?
Yeah.
So,
Normally we do a clinic where we give them to the county employees. Are you doing that this year?
I think they've already done that.
Already done that. I guess I
Yeah,
missed.
I think all that was
Missed it.
done before I came. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see.
We've
So,
gotta-
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, there is a legal issue we need to have an executive session on at some point.
Yes. I looked at our county vaccinations rates in the schools, and they run between 5 and 9%. Kids 5 to 11. So, or I guess I should say high school kids. But Dr. Allen wants to keep the kids' vaccinations strictly in the health department. He doesn't want us to do any satellite clinics.
Okay.
And that's about all that I.
So what do you need at your clinic now that you're there?
An RN,
An RN?
a nurse.
So I think we got,
Yes, yeah. I don't know if we've had any applicants or not,
Okay.
but, we have some grants that, I worked on one last week. Tisha, we did a Zoom call and we worked at one that needed amended and we fixed it and got it all sent in. But, we have our other programs that need to be picked up that are just kind of,
so have you talked to Amanda?
I have not met her yet. No. No, but I did, like I said, we did a Zoom call with Tisha, and she's going to be in today at 11 to help me over at the health department.
That's good.
And Amanda is off on maternity leave.
Yeah, I knew she
Yeah,
was.
and she's going to be off 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What else do you need?
Um,
How much time we need for legal for her
Probably 15 minutes.
first day and you're already in
I
legal?
know, not me. And we do have a dumpster now that the park brought from
Okay.
Lacine. We have it for 6 months.
Mhm.
We don't have to worry about paying for it until the 6-month period is up when they want it back. So we need to figure out how big a dumpster we want right now. And how often we want them to dump it.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, but that's not a priority.
Have you met Sean right behind you?
Yes, yeah, he came into my office.
Okay.
He's the one that talked to me about it.
Yeah. All right.
So that's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody got any questions? And welcome. I'm sorry for not saying that. AMR? Yeah.
Good morning, Galen Anderson with AMR. I'm going to hand out last month's detailed report and we'll review that. So in reviewing data for the month of October, I'll just pop down the cities that the calls came into. There was 2 calls with one transport that had a address without a city listed. Usually have a couple of those each month. Blue Mound had 4 requests, 3 transports. Centerville had 1 request, no transport. One that fell into a Fontana address had 1 request, 1 transport. Lacine had 27 requests and 18 transports. Linn Valley had 7 requests, 4 transports. Mound City had 25 requests, 13 transports. Parker had 9 requests and 6 transports. Pleasanton had 30 requests, 19 transports, and Prescott had 3 requests and 3 transports. All told, for the month of October, we had 109 requests for ambulance service and 68 transports. And we break it down by the 3 districts. In District 1, there was 45 requests and 26 transports. And in District 1, we had an average response time of 9 minutes, 6 seconds. In District 2, we had 38 requests and 23 transports. And District 2 had an average response time of 8 minutes, 16 seconds. And District 3 had a total requests of 39 and 19 transports. In District 3, we had an average response time of 15 minutes, 16 seconds. And all told, that captured 122 requests. Sometimes those totals are different just for where they fall in the address lines and the county lines. 68 transports, and for the whole county and all responses last month, we had an average response time of 10 minutes, 46 seconds. We're scheduled for the whole month to have 1,488 unit hours in service. We were shy by 1 unit hour, so we were staffed up a little over 99.9% of the time. And then it was a bit of a slow month trend-wise for patients being flown out, needing to be flown out by helicopter. We only flew 1 patient out by helicopter, and that was for a significant cardiac issue. Any questions on that data for October?
Don't have any.
Thank you.
Yeah, so far for this month, we're off to a little bit of a slow start. We're at 11 total transports at this point in the month. And we got our supervisor vehicle. It's a Ford Expedition Max SUV, and it's in service. Still have some, so it's out here in the parking lot now. We still have a few things to do to arrange, like where jump bags are going to be and where supplies are going to be stored and different things like that, as the supervisors can get used to adjusting from operating out of an ambulance to operating out of a SUV. So some different equipment that's going to be rearranged and whatnot. And then in the next few weeks, we should have our compression device that'll also be stored in that vehicle. And that'd probably be a good time when we'll invite you guys to take a look inside and outside. And once it's fully set up the way the supervisors want to have it for their daily needs. So we're excited to have that. And then, yeah, I think that's all I have.
Ambulance barn, is it?
Sean, tell us about the ambulance barn. Is it done? Late scene?
Late scene has been handed over to me. Go there today and look at the punch list stuff that's been done. And then I'm going to work with AMR this week so that they can start looking at the building for infrastructure needs as far as Wi-Fi radios, the things that they are going to install in the building before the move over. So by next week sometime, we should be handing everything over.
Carpet's clean?
We did have that done. I'm going back up to look at it today. So
And you got an appliance there, the dishwasher lid falls up.
maintenance and I are going up to look at the old appliances and things that are in there. That's what this week's gonna be, is the things that we left in the building that weren't a part of the bid process, making sure that we got that cleaned up, and then meeting with AMR to make sure that we get a good, clean transfer over to the new building.
You gonna put a sign on it?
I don't know.
Would you guys like to sign?
Just take some spray paint?
You like us?
It seems like right now, we never really had it.
The current stations don't.
I'm almost waiting for people to walk up to you from Casey's there. Well, we need to put something up. I don't know what, but it needs to be identified.
I plan to cover, there was a sign near the doorway, just stencils, affixed to the siding, and we need to cover that up because the old stuff didn't come off. But I plan to put the station number right there by the door.
All right.
Yeah.
So-
if we put signage on that, maybe we should put signage on the Pleasanton station too.
See,
It's not-
I'm trying to be nice to you. Now you want it on everything.
I think
I know, it's just, it never works. We'll just get 3 stickers, AMR. You go to Stainbrooks and get them. What's the estimated turnover time you think? Are you still doing it by 1 December?
For the building,
Yeah,
I believe that's probably a good timeline.
okay. Are you good with that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the crews are looking forward to it for sure. I poked my head in last week to the garage and it's looking great.
Yep.
One thing I did notice is it has a heater, but it doesn't have a means for air conditioning. And I don't know if that was an oversight. And the only issue is there's a Kansas regulation that determines how warm an ambulance bay needs to be kept and how cool it needs to be kept. And so I don't have I'll reach out to get the exact number. You're not familiar with that number, are you? But it's something they check on inspections. And in all the ambulances, we're also required to monitor the temperature of the cabinet in the back of the ambulance. Because if it gets too hot, then the drugs lose their effectiveness. And so that's one thing that I noticed that they'll probably need to be addressed.
Okay.
I think with the design of the building, it won't take a whole lot to keep it cooled. And it's not extravagant. I think it's maybe just keeping it in the 80s or 90s.
Get the regulation over to him,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'll get a number over to you.
As tall as that building is.
Yeah, it has a nice tall ceiling, which should make it easy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good week.
Are you gonna be really long, Jessica? Come on. Yeah, I know.
I just have a couple of things
You gotta say
today.
your name.
Jessica Hightower, Economic Development.
Thank you.
I'm doing another shop local promotion. It ends on Friday. If people send me their receipts to my email address, they'll be entered in a drawing for a $20 gift card to Muddy River Outpost in Lacine. That's the new coffee shop up there. And any Linn County business, except for Dollar General and Casey's, because they're not locally owned. Any other business would work for that. They just need to email me their receipt and their name. And my other thing is, we'd had someone contact us about spill prevention for our fuel tanks. I looked into it. I've gotten the plan done. I've talked to the EPA to get guidance. They had a template. We just go through and fill it out. They had certain templates for different gallons at the site. So I started with the airport because that's the fuel tank I knew the most about. It's a 6,000 gallon tank. I was able to get that plan done in an afternoon, and I sent it off to EPA, and they looked at it and approved it. We keep one here. We keep one at the local shop, and we keep a copy at the EOC. And it basically tells us what to do if there's a spill. And so we will be able to do all of those in-house. We don't need to pay a company to come do it. To do those spill prevention plans. We will have to have an engineer certify the plan for Pleasanton because we store more than 10,000 gallons at Pleasanton. But our on-call engineer can certify that. We don't have to go find someone else to do it. So,
Okay.
any questions?
Not from me on that.
Okay.
You?
Anything else?
Yeah. The Larry Reynolds was renting some property I was telling you about earlier today. He rented it. He rent the property for hay over at the old Mr. Cyril's property over there in Lacey, right across from where you know where I'm talking about, the old Cyril property down
We're talking
Industrial
about
Park.
The Lacey Industrial
Yeah,
Park.
yeah.
You're talking about the property that we've been looking at for some.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to see the contract for Larry Reynolds. It was done in 2020 and 19 and 18. He did it.
I can see if it's in our file.
Yeah, see if it's in your files.
Okay.
Anyway, he has an interest in. There's a few acres that he was included in that over by the concrete plant that he used to hay. He wants to hay that this year, this late in the fall. He wants to do it, and he has interest in that. And so we need to figure out if that's a possibility. Apparently, nobody's mowed it anyway, so.
If she could find the contract,
Larry Reynolds
Yeah.
is his name? Okay.
Yes.
I'll go
Then-
see if I can find it.
then we can, and if we can identify the specific area that he's wanting to
Yeah.
take, we can drop it.
So I guess in that last part of that summer of 2020, he didn't get to actually hay it because when Jackie was here, he pulled that property away from him, said that we're selling some of that property off. And so if we need to look it over to reimburse him or do whatever the right thing is, let's look at that, please.
Okay.
We'll work on it.
Anything else?
No, that's it from me.
Okay.
You got anything?
I don't have anything.
I texted you last week after I left commission about the lights. Those were for sure fixed.
Yeah, Kevin Amer was out there. We'd had somebody call before the meeting and tell us that the fuel and the lights were down. Kevin Amer was out there. Everything was working. They think that what happened was there was like an electrical switch that got flipped. And when they were over there working, they flipped it back and everything was working again. So, yep. Haven't heard any more complaints.
Do we have to, like, so when something like that happens, do we have to call in to some aviation place and let them know or anything like that?
If we know about it, we can put out a NOTAM. That's what we would do. But since that was an easy fix, we just
Gotcha.
don't
If
worry
it was
about
going
it.
to be out for more than a few hours, you definitely would.
Right.
That's all I had.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You normally get to go, but Mike, come on up here. Nope, come on up here. You didn't come you came for a reason. You did. All right. So you get to stand up there anyway, because I'm going to talk about you. So the old state building out there, Lacey, we're not really using it. Did you take pictures? It's been abandoned basically by us, and we have both sides have interest in it, title wise, deed wise. This was Doug's thing that he wanted to keep the reason to keep the building was to keep that in it. You know,
I know.
you know where the state building is? It's not a building that we own outright. It's a building that,
Well, we own
We
it
do.
outright, but when we cease to use it for county purposes, and give up our interest in it, then they get the remainder interest. It goes to
and
them.
we don't really have an interest, if you ask me, and if we're not using it. So it would be, I think the right thing to do is to give up that right and let them have it. Like I said, it's not like a building that we own and we can't sell it and we can give it back to somebody, but if we did, it would be them. So
That's the only thing we have in it.
that's it. And it's pretty much like that a lot. So, yeah. What's your thoughts on it? Been a little feuds over the years of who does what and gets what, and I'd just like to end it all. And if Rural Water One's going to benefit from the building itself, then that's what I would propose.
Do we ever store anything else in it?
I think he puts a boat in it once in a while, but he can put his boat somewhere else. He's got it somewhere else right now.
When that damage money that we got from the state came in, was there anything on this building?
I don't know if we did anything or not.
Would that be a reason we'd have to hold on to it or no?
No. I mean, I don't think there was anyway, but either if there was, it wouldn't require us to hold on to it.
Sir, what kind of damage was supposed to have been on it?
We don't know.
I don't know. I know that that area there was, direct.
You remember when all the roofs got replaced? We didn't replace the roof there though, did we? I know they climbed on it though. Jackie was there that one day.
I know we had talked about it, or just it was on a list.
And originally we held on to it for a long time because we thought maybe that would be our answer to the ambulance place, but it's well past that now.
If you decide you intend to do this, I'll prepare a quit claim deed in which you quit claim your interest, the county's interest, to the water district.
Real Water One?
Yeah.
18 through 23.
Yeah, because it has a metal roof on it, and we never have had any trouble with it.
Thoughts?
I don't know. If we don't use it, we don't need it.
We got a lot of those, a few of those. I won't say a lot. We do have some buildings. Danny, what's your thought?
I'm kind of with Jim. If we're not using it, do something with it.
All right.
Benefit the county.
I'll make a motion that we do a quick claim deed and let Rural Water One accept the responsibilities for that building and claim it. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. There you go.
I thank you very much. Now we can get started on it. Well, after we get the deed on it.
What's your plans with it?
Well, first
Into a bar.
First of all, we want to take and put some insulation on the outside where the blocks are, and then put metal on it and put blue metal or something like that to make it look real nice. And then we want to put some solar panels up on top, across the top, so that we can cut our rate on our electricity, and which isn't very much, but it just helps us. And then we want to add another bigger bay on the west side, because we've got a backhoe, one of them track loaders, and the garage doors are kind of tight on there now. And we can put it in there. And
Sounds good.
Good luck with everything.
All of our water rates should go down now. Well, you can get with them other water districts and tell them to lower their rate.
well, you need to talk to 13 to get their rate down, and then that'll lower our rate.
There you go. Thank you.
I thank you both,
Yep.
all of you, very much.
Sean?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. While we're on that building, do you want me to contact fire to remove the training aids and property that are left in there?
Yeah.
Okay. think I'll start out with another request that I had. This one's from Mr. Johnson, roadway issues, and intersections. I've tried to photograph the areas, and I hope I got the correct line of sight issues that were brought up.
This is the one we talked about earlier with Jackie. It's actually the state highway right away. But it coming from when you're headed south on 31, it goes down and you have to make a left-hand turn on 350 road. And it's just a shot in the dark when you go down and if you go down and take a left-hand turn because you cannot see. I reached out to the state highway department this week, and he actually called me back. So I think we have him on board as far as the superintendent for the highway department.
Okay.
And then I got a hold of the landowner, and he's on board too. He's wanting to talk to us. I mean, I'd like to take Sean with us. I know it's not our right of way, but I'd like everybody to be in agreement on what we're doing here. I think the state's will do something, and I think the landowner's gonna let somebody on to clear it up because
You're just talking about the
Right now.
brush?
yeah, it's just a brush
Just
right
a
here in the
brush right
corner
there.
here. Because when you go down south and to take a left to go onto our blacktop, which is 350 road,
Right.
you cannot see. I mean, there's grain trucks, there's stock trailers and everything else. And whenever and the guy that lives right here, I've asked him, and his family actually goes down and turns around and comes back the other way if they come this way. It's a terrible corner.
Can you talk to that landowner?
Now I've got it. He called me back. I went through his renter, and he actually called me himself. And he's a deer hunter, and he probably don't want something done right now, but he said he wants to meet with us. So
Okay.
is it
Yeah,
if
it's
Sean and I and then meet with the superintendent of the state and see what we can get done?
Yeah.
I photographed those from the stop sign as I was parked at the stop sign, and there is a clear issue on both those curves.
So is that something we'll have our county do, or we're asking the state?
Well,
As far as clear.
I think the state might be involved in it, but I mean, even with us, is there something, I wouldn't mind if we took turns mowing it or something,
If he's gonna allow us
if
to mow.
he allows us in there.
We need a contract for that?
Well, we may need some
Agreement?
kind of an agreement, yeah.
I just thought if we could go with Sean and we all get there and we're all standing there talking, we could come to an agreement of some kind and then
Yeah.
bring it back to you guys if it's
Yeah.
okay with you.
I think if you authorize Jim to go ahead and negotiate on our behalf, he'll be able to work something out. And then if it needs a written agreement, we can do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem with the landowner letting somebody on there to clear the corner.
Okay.
I think he's in agreement there
All
on
right.
this one.
I don't have any problems with that. Okay.
And then there should have been another roadway.
Yes, it's out on the 554. It's Wall Street Road and Lane Road, right on the corner.
That's what I was looking. I was confused. What the heck?
That should also be on the photos I gave you
Is it
on the
here?
back.
Right.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
There's actually a tractor wreck here a year ago and broke a tractor in half on a car coming around, couldn't see what was happening. This corner here on the north. And I do have permission, the landowner's giving us whatever we want to do there. I mean, to clear it
How
up.
much would you do?
I don't,
50 feet off the road? Are we gonna take care of that then?
well, we just brought it to you guys.
You said you gotta,
The landowner's.
The landowner's open to it since it actually will involve taking county equipment on private property
Right,
to clear out the line of sight. I told Jim that you would need your approval to do it,
okay.
but it's perfectly within bounds of the kind of thing that
But
we have the
we need
authority
it
to do.
written or not?
No, we don't need a written agreement. If he's
Landowner told me he could do whatever we wanted to. I mean,
Make a motion.
Motion?
I think you want on the record that you're approving the road department to go out there on that private land and clear out for purpose of line of sight clearance.
From on Lane Road and 554 Highway.
You go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow our
County
road-
employees, yep.
county employees to go on private property and clear a line of sight out to the road right away.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye.
Now going back to this one's out by, on the way to Mapleton, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know, okay.
Right south where 31 turns south and you go a mile and a half.
Yeah,
You've been by it. I mean,
yeah, I had a horse trailer on here the other day going through there, and it was, coming off that gravel.
you're okay everywhere except if you go down to take a left to go onto our road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, coming from Burton's, yeah.
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 Okay.
And as soon as I get, that landowner's gonna get back in touch with me, and I told Sean, and then the state superintendent actually called me back this week, and wanted to know he's ready to do something, so.
I think the landowners over there to the east, they drive across their pastures. They don't have to go through that corner. Do we need a motion on that for,
Well, at this point, it'd be fine if you want to authorize Jim to negotiate in the county's behalf on that. That'd be fine to have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow Jim to make decisions for us on what which one is this?
31 highway and 350.
Oh, that's my motion.
Second. I'll second. Moving second. All in favor? Aye. Got David over there typing fast.
So shouldn't, since you approved me to do it.
Yeah, I got you.
Then I'll get with Jim and we'll work it out as far as contacts from landowners. And we'll meet on the property and with supervisors.
Isn't this exciting, Melissa?
Obviously, the storage building was gone last week. We cleaned up a few little issues, and in the future coming up, River City was going to have the contractors mark the edge of the concrete out there so we'd know how much we had to take.
Okay.
But we will have to make a decision about the concrete further west of there, what we're going to do with that afterwards. They're just going to put a line on the pavement for us and let us know how much is going to have to be removed for that initial curbing and concrete to go in. Parker Road project, it was finished up as well last week. I just didn't have confirmation to bring to you before the meeting, and the striping's done. Things look good out there. Olathe Freightliner, I'm still in communication with the engine and the warranty issues. They're trying to get all the part numbers and everything lined out correctly and get back to me. But I'm still forthcoming about the extended warranty stuff that I was asked about. The Zener Bridge project, met with Federal Highways, Federal Fish and Game out there this week. They had some drilling done and samples taken on both sides of the bridges. They're asking, we put a metal bridge plate or a road plate that Harry was able to get a hold of. We put that on one end to cover the damage so that they could get the equipment across. They're asking that we leave that in place. And in the future, if there was any in-kind labor or anything needed, it would count against any projects in the future as far as in-kind work. They're looking at the end of the year to come back to us with a proposed project to repair that. They're thinking somewhere close to the end or beginning of next year when they're going to be able to bring us more information on that. Evergy on the park, they sent the extended or the lease that would cover from our past lease to our current. And they're saying the current is the end of the year, but they sent a lease to cover that in between, and it's been sent out to the program that I needed to have that lease
It's
for.
almost been a year,
What's that?
the new lease.
Yeah. They're still working on the new lease. What
Yeah.
this is an extension
I
of the
know.
old lease up till the time the new lease is approved. And did you sign it or?
It asked to sign it and send it back to them, and they returned signed copies.
Okay. Well, I reviewed it and so now we have a formal lease anyway, which we
Till the end of this year?
till the end of this year.
Noxious weeds, weekly meeting went good. He had a regional directors meeting that he went to this week. And he should be in here next week to meet with you all and tell you that, some of the things he's done and when he's going to start that testing process. Believe he's on track and doing well. Maintenance flooring, at AMR, I'm going to meet with AMR about both sites, Lacing and Pleasanton, on Friday and try to work out some of the details about, the Pleasanton building. They're going to need to be in and out, and we're going to need to move some things, and they may need to be relocated overnight or for a little bit in order to facilitate that carpet to go in. And transportation, we're requesting permission to apply for a ramp accessible van that's going to be $60,000 on an 80-20 match, in addition to our normal transportation grant that we get every year. We're asking to apply for that to see if we can get that. One of the reasons for that is the high mileage on the two vehicles we have and the continual push out of the date of the vehicles that are supposed to be sent back to
We
us.
only have one van operating, correct?
I'm sorry?
We only operate in one van per day? Is that what we're doing?
Currently, we still have the two, but the maintenance on the,
Two of them are going out every day?
not every day. No,
So
no,
we bought a brand new van
correct. That,
already.
that we don't have a ship date.
That was
my
our
understanding-
money that we spent from some other fund.
Okay,
And then we have the one that was granted on the 80-20 grant that we got a few years
Yes.
ago. So is that one the one you're wanting to replace that vehicle?
no, we're still waiting for the vehicle that you're talking about, the bus. We're still waiting. The dates have been pushed out
Okay.
on that vehicle. What we're asking for, because a lot of our transportation and a lot of our needs are a small number of people or sometimes even just one rider. So with the two older buses that we have here, one would be replaced on a forthcoming bus that we don't know when it's going to be in. And then we would like to put in a grant to see if we could replace the other one with a wheelchair accessible minivan, to see if we could get that
Are
grant.
you going to keep 3 vehicles? You're going to keep the other 2 vans as well?
The other van, the one I'm assuming that you talked about that we purchased, was the one that the sheriff's department uses for transportation.
Okay.
But yes, we would
So
keep,
they're sharing it or they've got it?
they've got it and we use it when these vehicles are broke down, because these vehicles are beginning to get high mileage. The other thing and it was recommended from the program, the other thing is that we're going to ask for more maintenance allowance in this grant because of the high mileage on these vehicles and the downtime with them until those other vehicles get in.
So I guess I'm not understanding because that one's a 2019, right? One of the vans that we purchased,
This,
we had money, Jackie asked for it, he went up to Belton, he bought the vehicle, we authorized him to buy it, he brought it back, so it was 19 or 20 that we bought a new vehicle. And you're saying that it's got high mileage on it?
you're talking about the red van?
I don't know which van, I don't remember which van.
And the newest van that's there is the one that the sheriff's department uses for transportation, and we share when these vans or vehicles are
That's the
down.
newest one we have?
To my understanding, yes.
It sits over there in that yellow barn beside Sheriff's Department.
I thought we just got that within the last year or so. I mean, it's-
Yeah, we did get that one.
It's correct.
And the sheriff has it?
No, well, he may be using part of it, but yeah, I think we're all confused now.
Well, that
Yeah,
vehicle,
listen, when we started the program, there was one van, okay? And it was a state-funded thing, that 80-20 split match. And then somewhere in 17 or 16, we got a new van, okay?
Okay.
With that fund, And we had an old van. And the old van we kept, and then we got some fund from health or some other fund somewhere. We bought a new van that was not part of the
not part of the program.
right at all. And it was a brand new van. We got it up in Belton with the dealer up there because they had it in stock. And we needed to, if we were going to get it, we needed to get it now, and we did.
Correct.
But it was like $75,000. I don't know exactly what the amount was. So it's my understanding we have one van that's has state ties to it, regulations to it, that we can only use, haul people under specific rules. And then we have our van, that new van I'm talking about, that we can
Correct.
haul whatever we want in it. And then we had a third van, an old van. I thought that was the van that we let the sheriff's department use. Are you saying it different?
I'm saying that the newest vehicle is the one that the sheriff's department and we split that when
Well, I don't
that time, when those
sure
other
understand that.
older vans are out of service.
How many vans do we have total?
3.
There you go.
Well, that's because the newer van with the sheriff's because of the wheelchair lift assist, right?
There is a wheelchair assist on that vehicle as well, yes.
I think that's why that van was chose to share between the sheriff's department and us, I guess. if you will.
Because the sheriff, in case you have a handicap?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
I believe.
And it's only shared, it's not, we still use that van for whatever we want to use it for when the sheriff's not using it, correct?
Correct.
So now we got 3 vans. We thought we had, when we started talking to you, we had 2. So what are you wanting to do now?
We've got one van that we're waiting on an 80-20 match from that program to replace one of the older vans.
And that van's going to be gone then?
Yeah.
One of those, and we're still maintaining 3, correct?
Yes. And the third, the other older van of the 2 that we're using, we would like to ask for an 80-20 match to see if we could get approved for a minivan with a wheelchair lift because some of our transports are long distance, low passenger.
Okay.
And it does not benefit anyone to take a full-size vehicle
I know that's a 25.
for quite a distance that's high mileage that needs replaced anyway. And if we were going to replace it, I wouldn't recommend replacing it even later on.
What's
with
the price
another.
on those?
The grant we're asking for is 60,000.
And it's 80-20, we pay 80.
That's correct.
We pay
And
80?
No. It's 80-20. We pay 20.
20.
And at this point, we're just asking for your approval to seek out the grant and bring it back to
Away
you.
with one of the vans we have then?
Yes. Our intention is to have the one van that you purchased the most recently, a van that will be replacing one of these 2 older vans that we're still waiting on in that program, that we don't know when the delivery's been pushed out 22 to 23. We won't know until further down the road. And to replace, when we do replace that other van, the older van, with something that's more compatible with our usage.
So that'll make us have 3 still, or are we having 4?
We would have 3.
Okay.
But they'll all be as new or newer than the one the sheriff's using now.
Because the sheriff's only allowed to use that one, because the other 2 belong to state ties.
Yes, they are on.
There's state ties to it.
Yes, they are on the program. They are grant funded.
Yeah.
And the reason that we share that other one is it is not grant funded, is my understanding.
Okay. Now that we got all that straightened out, are you in favor of it or not?
Yeah, I'm in favor of it.
So you're just for 20% of 60,000 to apply for a grant?
We're asking to apply for it. If we were accepted, I'd come back and give the numbers to you and tell you about that. We're just asking to apply for it at this
You okay
time.
with that?
I'm okay with it.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and apply for that grant for up to $60,000 with the state for a possible minivan, conversion van type transportation vehicle. That's moving second. All in favor? Aye.
Now, since we're under like a grant funded program for the other 2 vans, like the diesel and stuff that goes in those vans, or if they're gas, whatever do we pay for that, or does that program pay for that?
I know they pay for the maintenance. I'll have to ask about the percentages, and I would have to assume that that's all paid for through the grant.
You have 1 or 2 passengers that are going in, relatively the same area, and we're taking a big van, right?
Correct.
So to further pick on you for this morning, some people have to go to the VA hospital, and I know Jessica's taking care of that stuff. What about people that have to go on a regular basis to the hospital, like daily dialysis or whatever else, are we still, is there specific rules or guidance that we're telling people for that?
I know that we have had passengers that were up to 3 times a week doing dialysis and other things. And we've been able to facilitate that in the past. As far as the difference in any fee schedule or anything, I don't.
I'm not worried. Well, I'm not worried about the fee, but I just, once we make a commitment to something like that's what I'm saying, that we just one day willy-nilly can't say, I can't take you anymore, you know?
I don't think.
So do we need specific rules on how
I
to?
think they have a handbook and they have rules lined up.
We have a rider handbook provided through the program, and then we have our own guidelines as well that follow that handbook. But if that's something that I need to have Joyce come in and actually
Just have
inform the
Joyce talk
public.
talk to us a little bit about it sometime, because, you know, that's a commitment. Somebody's going to take their parent, maybe have to move them up closer to the city or to one of those facilities, Pale or wherever, which the one in Pale is closing. Now all of a sudden they can't do that, and they make that choice where they have the ability to leave their parent in that house in Linn County with the dependence is on that vehicle.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? The importance of
Keeping that commitment so that obligation's already there. And I believe they do a fine job at that, but I will have her come in and explain that.
Yeah. Okay.
That way everybody's on the same page for it.
I appreciate it. What else you got?
I need 15 minutes for personnel and 10 for legal. And any questions you might have of me. I'm sorry. Skip that. I have 2 file folders below that I didn't get to. I have a couple of dump permits. The first of which is Pleasanton. As I'm reading this, Bobby's gone through this, provided all the information and assessed the property that's blighted. And we're asking for a waiver on fees on this one.
Bobby's already signed off on it.
Yes.
Dump fees in Pleasanton, Kansas.
Correct.
Property address or?
Yep. 20479 East 1000 Road in Pleasanton. This application is for reduced CD dumping fees. And it's in compliance because Bobby signed it. So I'll make a motion that we approve the application and allow this reduced dumping fees. We'll look at it. For that address.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I was confused by the address. It's almost my address.
Probably is. Probably hauled some shit over there and went and dump it. That's my motion. Been moved and second. All in favor? Aye. You got another one?
The second is from the city of Parker. Bobby's gone over it, assured me all the paperwork and everything is correct. The only thing he hasn't been able to do is go physically to the site. But he's relied on all the information provided from the city of Parker, and he's highly confident that this one as well meets all of our requirements.
This is applications for reduced dumping fees at 222 West Taft Street, Parker.
I'll make a motion that we allow the reduced dump fees. Is there at the 22 West Tariff Street? Taft Street in Parker.
I'll second.
Moved and second, all in favor? Aye.
That's all I have for today.
Sure.
Except for executive and personnel.
We should have Larry Sharp taking up here about 5 minutes.
Danny was wanting a 5-minute break.
Yeah, if we could, I gotta make it really fit.
I'll make a motion, we take a break till 10 after.
I'll second.
Recess, I'm sorry. Moved and second, all in favor? Aye. Don't forget to sign the back of those checks. But we paint that building pink.
Oh, no. It's gotta be different than white. Something that shows blue.
See what? People know where you're.
Well, we got a good sized sign out front. Nobody still knows where we're at.
Hey, you what?
Oh, yeah, we're doing that. I think we already set up to do that.
Next up at 10.
You talk Aaron,
You didn't join?
we're doing.
You didn't join one of them? No, we're just, one of them got that run there, so we're just taking it actually.
I got that in already. That's why I get from.
I reviewed all my,
That's already.
how you doing? All right.
Taking about 10 minutes.
What's that?
Takes about 10.
I tell you what, I've never seen, you know, I've been proud of this
And I keep telling them, no, you need to call the office. Office number that everybody called because she was doing right, she was doing local. And she knew very well.
Yeah, she didn't know everybody.
So I'll tell her.
She needs to
Yeah, she knows how to walk it on.
Right now.
And she's been doing a lot. That was finished that way, maybe 2 years on that.
We've been working on this for
Right now, check the water line. But I told him to go out and water test it, because that one guy, Curtis, he says he can do that. I told him, well, if I can water. He says, we don't have nothing to do but to pass the meter. I says, man, don't know where he's water line is.
the idea that we're gonna take some.
No,
This,
you don't have anything. You got that out there, it already.
there was their water boy. Eight guys.
Remind me.
They would have.
Right.
It's actually right down the alley.
Probably, remember.
Is that?
there's after you look past the, church or.
But that's the easy
down
way,
at-
like I said, you know, when it comes out of the house, stand there and
Downside or bigger?
aim at your speeder.
Different.
So they
Range, different.
everything across it is probably.
Yeah,
You know, that one owners, every owner did something.
Yeah, it could be.
One of the other owners,
TV.
we ran a line from the main or whatever. It's way out in the field.
Yeah, it's not got space.
yeah.
Put a salt on the stick.
I'll get on Chris and see if he can. I
Good, how are you?
But like I said, the easiest way would be just dig
You
a
guys, getting anything done
and
today?
hope I have it.
I like to drill a hole.
Discussing about.
Yeah. Yeah. All words, little action.
You ever put a fence in through there?
No, I don't know
That's
how.
how it comes to
We're water
all
line
talk, little action.
along the, west side of the property. It says water line. Got it there. So I definitely gonna build up to there. I follow the guys.
Yeah,
And I used to hang, maybe like scaffold.
yeah,
And just a good addition for the Roman to there.
yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. I was, yeah, get lost there for a minute. I couldn't figure out like how many damn buses we had. But I remember why we bought that bus. I bought that one new bus because we had a stupid amount of money. And I think it was $60,000. And Jackie had said, well, I don't even know where to go buy a bus. I said, well, the Dalton guy, he has them there on the highway all the time. So he went up there and he had it and he bought it. And that way because apparently we couldn't load up our people on that other bus if we wanted to take them somewhere. Or if we wanted to, I don't know, I can't think of all, the sheriff wanted to use it. I know the other bus we can't use that for at all.
Blue, red, and green riders, and where they're funded. So.
I just worry about more people saying, let's leave our parents in the house. And then we commit to it. And then all of a sudden, we don't want to do this anymore.
We were keeping there. 6 weeks. Office cancer, that all that organization and stuff. He was on the platform on the event. It takes a lot of families and when you make a commitment, like you're saying, you got.
Yeah. Yeah. Once a year, huh?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's fine.
You got good news today?
Oh,
We got a minute.
it's as good as you hope.
Okay.
In the insurance world, they're taking a beating right now.
Are they?
With a lot of
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
property and casualty claims out west,
Okay.
mainly not down so much in southeast Kansas. Liabilities really hurt us a lot.
Okay.
You see that on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple more minutes and we'll get started.
Tell you what, it's just about like, I don't even know it's fall, seems like late summer.
I like it.
That is nice.
It could be like this all year and I'm fine.
This year it's pretty down here in this part of the country.
Yeah.
In the fall.
It is.
Can't say so much about western Kansas. The only good thing about that is you can see a long way. They even said you're getting a new justice center.
Yep. Yep. We'll make our insurance go up even more.
Where's the general contractor?
River City out of Columbia.
Architect in this area?
Larry Goldberg. I don't know where Larry's out of. Is he out of St. Joe?
Jail architect?
Yeah.
Or you had a soul.
Yeah, he'll let you know how many jails he built. And he's still building a lot of them. They get ready up there in coffee, aren't they? They're still talking about it, or they
I don't know, they might put it on the back burner for a
they
little
gonna
while.
let it cool off a little bit. They figured out how much it's gonna cost. You ready? All right, go ahead, Larry. Come on up. Do your
Thank you, Commissioners. Give you a little handout here, sort of lead along here. This here's sort of similar to last year. It's a risk management usage for Linn County in particular. This activity covers over a four-year period, just to show you year to year what's happening. And this is up to date as of July 31st of this year. And it goes without saying, and you know, in the insurance world, just like in the farm business, it's all about managing risk. And so the better that we can help our member counties manage our risk, the better off it is for all of us. And as you know, K-Camp, since 1992, has been member owned. It's not an insurance company, it's a pool. And so we have 73 counties that we insure. And it's not unlike a credit union or a farmer's co-op there. And so we're sort of all in this together, but it is formed 4 counties. That's our specialty. We have reached out into some small cities that we insure also. And the services here on this page are the ones that are most commonly used here in K-Camp. Starting at the top, which is our oldest service, right after K-Camp was formed by 31 counties in 1992. One of the big things that was going on in the counties at that time, and it still is today, is liability concerns. Of course, you know, we have several lines of liability coverage for our member counties. Probably the biggest line and the most expensive is what we call law enforcement liability. But just like we have public officials liability, we insure the county commissioners, the clerk, and all the elected officials. Everything between law enforcement liability and medical malpractice for your public health department. Attorney assist, we gauge the usage by the number of calls. The big majority of the calls are by telephone. And as you can see, if you go across here, activity's been below average here in Linn County. And just reading between the lines, I guess to me, that's a good sign. But you get some counties where you have a whole lot of calls in 1 year. Generally, it's about a liability issue here. The departments that use this the most, the 3 departments that use this the most in all of our counties, and that'd be no exception here in Linn to be the county clerk, the sheriff, and the county counselor. In most of the counties, and I don't know how it is in Linn County, the big issues with this is generally the county. And I think the reason why is because the big majority of our counties does not have a full-time human resource person. So the county clerk is probably the closest thing to that, even though they're not. They take a lot of calls.
Right.
And as such, they make a lot of calls to attorney assist, especially around errors and omissions, followed by the county counselor. The county counselor, usually whenever the county counselor has initiated the calls, it's one level up, of concern, I guess I would say. And the county counselor, in Linn County, like in the big majority of our counties, they're general practitioners. I'm not saying you're a general practitioner, but, doctors all specialize in certain areas. And today, and it has been going on for a number of years, now the attorneys are specialized in employment law, liability, criminal law, estate planning, and family law. So the county attorneys or county counselors in the counties, when they have an issue come up, say in employment law, they utilize attorney assist to say, here's what we have going on here. Here's what's happened. Can I get some, what do you think? Here's what I maybe like to do. Here's what I'm looking at for the run this by you. And we really appreciate that because we are partners. And we enjoy it. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're just here to help you make decisions on liability. 2018, there was 2 calls. 2019, 2 calls. 2020, 0. 2021, 1 call. As you can see, we put our price on these calls. Now, Kate can't pay for it. I like to say Kate can't pay for it, but everybody's in this, so you pay for it through your premium. And attorneys is one of the few professions that when you call them, they charge you about a minute. And so it's not cheap. But in attorneys that practice in insurance law, and these attorneys and attorney assist, they're insurance law practitioners, but they specialize in county and municipal government. I can't tell you what we're paying for attorney assist. It depends. If it's a call, generally they're running about $200 to $250 an hour. If they go to litigation, which attorney assist also does that, in other words, they do take it to trial and they litigate the claim on behalf. Now we're talking maybe twice that, $400 to $500 per hour if they have to go to court. The next one here, Commissioners, is Kansas legal-based jail guideline. Since you are building a new justice center, and it's a pretty good sized bed facility, that this program has not been implemented by the sheriff. We are reaching out to the sheriffs to talk to them about this. And the reason why, Commissioners, if you look at law enforcement, the cost to the counties that have jails goes up even higher to cover the sheriff's operation. And then the way we sort of figure your liability on a jail, one of the key components here is the size of the jail. And you're going to have a 90-bed facility here. So your cost to insure the liability on that jail is much greater than some of these small counties out west where they got 6. And it's just because of the number of personnel, the activity, and the potential for some litigation that may come out of that. This program has not been implemented here in Linn County. There's a one-time fee, $1,500, we pay that. And what this does is it really, the sheriff or his jail administrator and You know, most of the counties, the sheriff has a jail administrator or a deputy. I don't know what your setup here is in Linn County. We have a couple of counties that actually has a jail administrator that's, sheriff has no authority over, it's the county commissioners, which I don't know if that'd be a good, necessarily a good idea, but, the most common problem here that we had with the jails, number one, is safety. We still, believe it or not, we still have a lot of suicides in the jails. And I can assure you, every suicide, there is a lawsuit. I don't care what you do, what kind of good case you have, there'll still be some kind of litigation. We win practically, you know, all of them are settled. We usually settle because, again, we go to trial, what's gonna be the cost of this case versus if we can try to settle this? And I know it's an agitation to commissioners and county officials when we settle this, we think, let's take this on the low. But K-Camp, even though we're a quasi-public agency, we're able to make some business decisions, unlike county commissioners. I'm sure there's been times when you're sitting in that chair and think, man, this issue here is a lot of money. I wish we could make a business decision, but you're in it for the service here. And so we do settle a lot of these cases.
So all those little tiny, I mean, litigation claims that you get from the more of the long-term guys that are in there really don't, they get bored and want to write up a litigation against sheriff or one of his employees. Do you guys have to deal with that too?
The different one.
There's, you know, all those little tiny claims that, you know, that the guys,
If they actually file a lawsuit, their attorney usually get involved.
really, that's a lot, isn't it?
Anyway, one-time implementation, this would be an excellent time for the sheriff maybe to engage this program here. It does keep him up on the newest policies and procedures. You get monthly alerts about here's what's happening here. Here's what happened in this one particular case or that we're litigating here. Could this happen to you? Have you done what you need to do to prevent what happened that we're seeing here? So it's really proactive.
So wasn't there something that was just implemented here like last year about sheriffs having more responsibilities or getting in trouble or being able to kind of holding their own responsibility for the jail beyond the county? I mean, can't our sheriff be, I mean, sued against without the county being sued? I thought there was something that just passed the House here last year or something that kind of put a lot of risk on sheriffs nationwide.
It was on the immunity of sheriffs from, yeah, I mean, there was some litigation that had some impact on the question of their immunity from suit, but it was not nothing resulted from it that was an absolute 100% change, you know, it opened a crack in the door, that made them nervous. They mostly got nervous.
Law enforcement used to have, you know, what they call qualified immunity. And it seems like now they may have potentially lost some of that, which doesn't speak well for none of us that's in the public sector here. In other words, the sheriff is going out, and a lot of the times when they're involved in a pursuit and there's a bad accident, they've got some level of protection there if they were doing it for performance of the duty. But now, what we're seeing, and I think what Rose came through, I don't know how this was, I think it's what went on in the east and west coast where the law enforcement was involved in this riot situation and that they were using what they call excessive force. And I understand that. There is such a thing as excessive force. But now they went one step further. He's personally responsible.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying.
The qualified that anything they did, they were doing it in the scope of their work, they
Came back.
were protected from. Now, there are some limitations to that, and that's what.
We've lost that. And like you said, once that door shut open a little bit, it may just all of a sudden swing open. And you know, that's a concern
to you all, and it is to us too. Because how do we insure now law enforcement?
Right.
At what level can we do, and will they understand where we're at? You know, that it just seems like in these cases on law enforcement, it's not good enough that they go to jail. They want to punish them financially, break them, break the families, break anyone associated with them if they can financially. That's my opinion on it, but we'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
Next one here again,
Next year will be a sheriff, then.
I'm still hounding about law enforcement here. Law enforcement model policies, this is something new that we have just developed. This is comprehensive policies and training that we offer to our sheriff and their deputies here. To really help them stay up on stuff like we just talked about. You know, we just sort of touched on qualified immunity. Really, and I'm not in a position, I'm not an attorney, your counselor is, but there's a lot more to that. And this here would really update that, sheriff. Here's what we're talking about. Here's examples. Here's what you should look at doing to help protect you and your deputies. This is not, this was implemented in 2019 by the sheriff. And so he's staying one step up on this here. And hopefully, as part and parcel, when you open your jail, he'll certainly look at implementing this new risk management tool that we have for the jails. Next one, commissioners, KCAM Online University. You can see the utilization was pretty good, real good, really, in 2019 and 2020. Had quite a number of courses that was given here, $5,600 worth. Again, it can't cover this. Again, the departments that utilize this the most, generally across the board, would be the clerk's office and the sheriff department. And it's based around customer service and make sure that they're aware. Here's the newest thing that happened on employment practices. The next one, commissioners, on-site training and seminars. In 2021, you had one course for all employees. David, do you know what that was? Was that defensive driving or?
Yeah, I'm not positive, but I think it was Public Works Department anyway, because that's for the 55, that looks about right.
Okay, and if it was probably Public Works, probably what this occurred was is, you know, liability issues involving road maintenance. You know, make sure that Public Works is aware. You know, you think road maintenance should go up a sign, look up. Well, you don't put up a sign anywhere. It's got to be so many distance feet from the project, another sign so many feet away. And I guarantee you, if you don't follow that order of safety, the liability attorneys will certainly tell you what it is when they want to bring some litigation. And you didn't post this, even at the point where they go out and put up a stop sign. Well, you know, they're all supposed to be uniform, so certain size, certain height from the roadway, certain setbacks. So you have to measure all that out. Make sure that sign is sitting right here to cover you in case an accident happens. The next one here is the most common that we have, commissioners, the risk avoidance grant, reimbursement of up to $2,000 annually. That is part and parcel of your premium that we're giving back to you to help with risk management in your departments. The departments are usually the Public Works and the Sheriff Department. You've done an exceptional job here in 2018, 2019. I don't know what happened in 2020. It sort of escaped by. And it wasn't utilized at all. And in 2021, we don't show as of July that it's been used. Do you know if anyone's used it yet?
No, the discussion came up recently. I don't know if they've applied yet, but I think it's on the way. Probably.
Generally, what I would have advised commissioners that what I could see a lot of other counties do, they just make sure the sheriff and Public Works, so the users of this, just make sure that they coordinate. One uses it 1 year, the other uses it another year. But don't leave any money on the table. It's your money. And if you leave any on the table, you will get it back. You know. So
Okay.
And the next one, Commissioners, Risk Management Award. Again, the annual award could be up to $14,000. I don't want to, it's sort of detailed information. David probably knows just as much or more about this than maybe I do. So I don't want to spend 10 or 15 minutes trying to explain how you get this.
Okay.
But what I can say is the smaller counties, it's a lot more difficult to meet the criteria for this. And road scholar tuition, this is for public works. If they take a course, generally put on by KDOT, and there's a fee with that course, if he will give us the paid invoice, we'll reimburse his department for that. And the last one is Think Human Resources, Think HR. Again, law enforcement liability is the biggest concern. The next largest liability, what we call exposure, would be employment practice or errors and omissions.
And that one, I will speak up, we actually have that available through our HR consultants that we deal with. So we have been using some of those services. It's just K-Camp hasn't had to pay for it for us. So we are using it though.
Yeah, what we're using,
It's the same program, but we've got it through our benefits consultant that
Okay.
we work with. We already had it before K-Camp offered it.
well, out of this whole program, the one that I asked the counties when I go for them to look at is make sure that your employee handbook is updated. You don't have to do it every year, about every 4 years. We will assist you in that. Again, I want to emphasize, we're not here to tell you what to do. We're just here to give you ideas and give you a model handbook. You can go through it. It says, oh, we looked at it. It was 4 things in it we liked. We didn't like the other stuff. That's fine. At least you like 4 things. And so, we hear this from an insurance perspective. And as your counselor can tell you, you know, everybody's got different perspectives on it. And so it helps to get maybe from our perspective on a lot of these things. Here's what's happening. Should you terminate this employee, for instance, or just give him a verbal warning or write him up for suspension? That's where we'd like to get a call. Hear what the details are, says, well, here's what we would advise. You do what you want. Well, you still got insurance, but what you're wanting to do, let us tell you why that might not be the appropriate way. Here's what we would say. And generally, that's where your county counselors are. That's something like that. Well, thank you, Commissioners. Anything else?
I have a question on on-site training and seminars. What all really does that consist of?
What's that?
The on-site training and seminars?
Mm-hmm.
What all do you guys do in that? I mean, what can we?
Well, we'll do defensive driving with the employees. And that's something that maybe once every 3 years, because you have turnover in the county here, to have your employees, any employees that drive county vehicles. Maybe not the sheriff, they have their own specialized course called EVOC, Emergency Vehicle Operation Course. But all of the other county employees, whether it's appraiser, public health, or public works, will certainly put that on. We will either our in-house counsel or attorney assist, we will come down and actually put on a seminar for department heads. Say, for instance, in, supervision. What are your duties as a supervisor? Why is it important to make sure this employee is doing this way, or he's being trained before you let him do it? So, that's, and I guess, we had a couple of counties down in Southwest Kansas. They came together and actually did one of these, just put on a 4-hour course. And they went together and had quite a number of people there and said, hey, come down here.
So it looks like we've had 55 people in it that you guys have trained this year. Is that what that?
Yeah.
The number, yeah.
It was I think it was a public works training.
There's all kinds of-
Yeah, probably safety at the work site. And the reason why is it's safety for the public. But it's also employee safety, but our sister agency, K-Work, Workers' Comp, covers that kind of stuff. We're talking about safety here for the general employee, what you need to do to make sure there's no accident happening involving you know, passerby,
Yeah.
you know? So, any other questions, commissioners?
I don't have any. You got any more?
I don't have any.
Thank you, Larry. See
Okay,
you next
thank
year.
you. I brought you down the ink pens and stuff, just the very stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I gave one to the county councilor. I saw him sitting there and I forgot I didn't include one in there, so I didn't want him to think he's special. I got a pen, they didn't, you know.
Well, he already thinks that.
But thank you a lot. Thank you. See y'all.
Anybody got anything before we go into executive session? So I'm gonna make a motion that we do 15 minutes or 25 minutes legal, one's with 15 minutes legal with the health and 10 minutes with, Sean, and then 15 minutes personnel with Sean. So a total of 40 minutes total.
Before you get any further, we had a personnel issue we wanted to talk about today too, so
How many minutes?
we throw another 10 in there for us.
50 minutes, 25 for personnel and the rest for legal.
Second.
Moving to second, all in favor? Aye. So your goal is not to have to go into executive session. You can leave immediately.
I insisted.
It's like losing his paint, watch paint dry.
David, are you here? Good. Good, good. I have heard from both of them. I haven't had any one-to-one conversations, but we've been emailing back and forth.
So we've got the contract with BG on Hills Bend, and then the adjustments coming through.
I hope to talk to them personally this afternoon.
Oh, we're still waiting on our other commissioner.
Our meeting, so.
No, did we say?
And we've been here longer than a whole lot of this. Really explainable.
Not you, but.
You know, I talk to people, and
You know what I figured out? And she's like, I was talking to her and she said, I said all our bills lining up and we're gonna be prepared for the other guys as soon as with that, and so. Not an ordinary went. Come on up and we'll do it anyway. He's for it.
The contract with BG Consultants for the design service.
We'll do the, can we do the road-
steps?
The steps. There he is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got 3 individuals that I need out of the south shop based on operator status. I need to correct some deficiencies in pay due to those statuses. And the first is Donnie Snyder. I need to move him from 8I to 8K. Rod Hahn from 8I to 8K. And the last is Donald Fish from 8L to 8M.
These are people that were hired in at the wrong level based on their qualifications and should have been hired this other way.
Correct.
And read the amounts what's the step increase? Is it like 30 cents, 50 cents? What is it an hour?
From 8L to 8K. David, do you have that?
I was trying to catch up on this.
Okay.
So,
8I.
from 8I to 8K would be from 1537 to 1562.
And 8L to 8M.
L to M would be from 1574 to 1587.
Virtually just like 25 cents difference. The other one was more like 70 cents.
1574 to 1586, so about 12.
12 cents. Come on.
Oh, 12 cents.
Yep. That's how you bill us too. That's law math. I'll make a motion that we approve these step increases for those 3 individuals as stated.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
So now from now on, they'll get increases based on evaluations and performance.
That is correct. The rest are performance-based evaluations.
Now you got your BG grant, right?
Correct.
Or not grant, but go ahead and read it. Contract.
We'd like to hire BG Consultants and their engineering firm to do the design phase of the OS5 replacement at Hell's Bend Bridge.
Okay. And the amount of that is?
57.5.
$57,500. That's my
Correct.
motion to approve that.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. What else? That it?
That is it from me.
All right.
One of either you will need to sign it, Rick, or you will need to authorize John to sign it.
I'll make a motion. We authorize Sean to sign that.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Congratulations. Dave, come on up. You got to go up to the speaker because you're on TV now.
You didn't think I could get up, did you?
No, we got you here. I figured you'd get up.
Yeah. Couldn't hardly wait. Hey, yeah, I guess you know that I'm chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board. for some reason. And we just want to visit a little bit with you about this comprehensive plan project that's been going on. Been here through, this is the fourth one, I believe. I've been on this board when this comprehensive plan's been upgraded, looked at, walked through. Hate to admit that, that's, can't tell my age, but anyway, never saw it done like this. Board's never been, nobody's ever dealt with the planning and zoning board.
Right.
No, we have had no input on anything. Seeing some of your stuff, the printed stuff that I see coming out of the paper stuff, that you're getting ready to look at land use and, we feel like a foster child.
Okay.
So Charlene has a couple things she wants to share with you.
Arlene Sims with the planning board. I've been on there over 20 years. I think the Citizens Advisory Committee has done a wonderful job. I mean, I think that they've compiled everything together. They've done a wonderful job of deciding on the goals. If you look at the goals, they're pretty much the same as the goals of the old comprehensive plan, except for internet. Anyway, so I think they did a great job. The Planning Commission, though, does have a place in this. In fact, according to state statute, the Planning Commission is the one that starts the process, which we did. Yeah. We said we needed a comprehensive plan, and they're the ones that work on it. But for some reason, we've been left out. Okay. And also, according to state statute, and I've got the statute here, it says that we review the plan at least once a year. Right. So, and that's sort of been left out. So anyway, that. And I would like to ask, just because of how this has come about and that maybe Dave and I are the only ones that really realize this, the Planning Commission needs some training. I mean, they really, when I first started, we went to trainings in Wichita and everywhere with other planning commissions, so we knew what was going on and how to do it. Some members on our planning commission don't even know how to make a motion that'll make it through a court case. So we really need planning. We really need training. So I ask that you look into that and see if you can, especially your new members, but I think the old members could really use some training.
Yeah, actually, in reality, and I've been here within a few weeks of what Charlene's been here on the board, and I never got invited to go to any training, so she got the last whatever it was. I've been here through 3 different, maybe 4 different zoning administrators, so I can't fault anybody, but we feel that in today's world that when we just grab people off the street and throw them in here to fill a chair, they just need to be a little more aware of what their responsibilities and stuff are and what our job is.
Well, your importance to the county is vital. So, Charlene, I'll ask you this. You said that somewhere down the line that you did get some training. And what kind of training did you?
20-some years ago.
What kind of training did you get 20-some years ago?
Planning commissions, I believe maybe they don't, but they used to have meetings like statewide.
Okay.
Go to those.
Have you ever looked and seen if they still have those?
Actually, about 5 years ago, I looked and I started getting on a email list with Miami County. But we need to look into that.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll look into it too for some.
I mean, you think about it, this committee, except for you all, is probably one of the most litigious prone committees the county has, and yet we have no training. So.
And I knew that you guys were probably going to come in because I talked to Charlene, and we didn't leave you out for a reason. We left you. We just had a different plan. Why don't you come on up? And then tell us your part of it. And you both know Jessica, right?
So the way we have done it, the company that's facilitating our plan, they're guiding us to do the comprehensive plan update first, which is the goals and the things that we've been working on. We are actually, I've been working with Bobby. We're on your December agenda for Jennifer Reinhardt to come and discuss future land use and those maps and planning and zoning code updates. Andy had started a draft of updates before he turned everything over to Bobby. So those have all been taken into consideration. She's been using those to draft an update of the codes, but all of them come before you before it's final. We're not leaving you out from our perspective. We just haven't gotten there yet.
I actually think that we should be a part of that process, not just looking at it and acting on it.
Uh-huh.
Sharing that conversation.
And
Slap in front of us and say either.
well, no. And that's not what we're going to do either. We're going to bring the draft. We're going to get your opinions, see what we need to change. If you don't like something, we'll change it. I mean, it's a draft based on what Andy left for us.
I think there's also there's also things that we need to add.
I'm sure. Yes.
So I think you're going to have that opportunity next week,
Yeah.
right? At your
No,
next meeting.
December.
Your next
December
meeting.
yeah.
So I don't think you've been left out. I mean, I don't think you
And
feel like you're
Rick
left
Morrell
out.
is on.
Pretty nice that you all had to do all the other work.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rich Morrell is on the comprehensive plan committee from the planning and zoning. So he's kind of been trying to represent planning and zoning there as well.
He doesn't interact with the planning and zoning board on those issues.
Yeah, he was
Never interacted with the planning board on those issues. He's fine alone.
Okay, I can't answer to that.
I can't even, I'm just sharing.
Okay. Fair enough.
But we,
So,
Planning commission reviews it yearly.
so here's Charlene and Dave. At your December meeting, why don't you let Dave and Charlene and Herman assign someone officially from the planning board to your committee?
we can do that.
And that way it'll represent your best interest and the county's best interest as planning and zoning for whatever future regulations you see that you would recommend to the county. How's that? Will that work?
And we can make sure that you all get with your agenda packets. I know you get them a few days ahead of your meeting. We can make sure that anything we talk about comes out with those packets so that you're able to look at it before the meeting and you're not trying to read and talk about it at the same time.
Well, I would appreciate that.
Yes.
Because, you know,
I understand your
when you
frustration.
walk in here, there's 3 people sitting in here, or 30, you never know when you walk through the door what you're walking into.
Right.
And because we don't, you get day-to-day communications when somebody makes an application for a Linn tower or a public bathroom, whatever it is. But we don't have anything we don't know nothing until we walk through to get that schedule. So we
Right.
don't know all the chit-chats that's transacted here for 29 days. So, you know, we're walking in something.
We walked into our last meeting pretty blind for that chapter. And if we'd had training, we probably would have heard about that. Planning commission. So, but
And we walked into that AT&T lawyer throwing this state statute out saying, we're here because we're going to do what we want to do. So,
Okay.
I don't know, yeah, it's,
but
we
you
do our best.
doing all
Yeah, we do. We're not bragging on you, we're just.
No, and I understand that. I
want this to
mean,
turn out
I haven't
better
gone
for
through
Linn
one of
County.
these
That's what we're
before.
here for Linn County.
Right.
Right.
We don't have anything personal.
Right. We're kind of, Jennifer from IBTS has kind of given us a schedule on how they do these. So we just haven't gotten to the part where we present to you guys yet, but we're coming in December.
Right, and the public meetings, you know, I try to represent my group a little bit and get up and make a couple comments
Yes.
about land use and stuff, and I was put down by the crowd, and they just moved on, because we're not here for that, we're here for free information and Wi-Fi and internet, and that was, and where are we gonna get our next free meal? So, I thought, at least as we asked for the and stuff, that I was just wanting to get people feedbacks, you know, in my estimation, 10 acres is too much for a home site. It's too big for a yard, not big enough farm. So they shouldn't have to, every time somebody wants to build a house on 5 acres, they shouldn't have to come and get a variance You know, and like me, I'm 80 years old. If I could build a carriage house and have living quarters above, I could feed my cattle a couple of days a week and his wife and we could, but without cutting that piece of land out and retitling it and everything. And I don't have to borrow the money to build a carriage house. I can do that. So it's not a loan, you know, it's just, some things that need, I think need to be looked at.
I agree. And that's what we're asking you to do starting next month is to tell us, and there's ideas that, you know, that the county needs to be involved in certain parts of somebody building a house or repairing a house. If that's the case, we need those recommendations without going.
You know, and I heard of echo building codes, and you know, that's open and Pandora's box.
That's what I need to know where, because
You gotta have somebody smart enough.
exactly.
To fit it on this building over here to enforce building codes, because if you don't enforce them right, you've taken that.
Yeah.
You've taken that responsibility and there's something happens, you could violate it.
I'm not sure the county doesn't take responsibility, but no.
I don't know either. That's something you look at.
As far as attendance for your members, I mean, are you guys getting good attendance or does that, you are?
Yes, sir.
Good.
And are you short any members right now on the planning and zoning?
You fill 2 openings.
Okay. So you're good.
As far as I know, we're full.
Okay.
But we never know when somebody doesn't show up or a new face shows up. We don't know ahead of time.
Okay.
So
That's our fault. We'll make sure you know from now on.
at least the chairman know what it is.
Yeah.
So when we welcome them, we hate an empty seat. We
Right.
welcome anybody, you know, but when you're sitting there and people walk in, and it's just be nice to know. I'd like to say, hey, well, James,
Sure.
but I don't know what you're here for. I don't know.
Yeah. Got anything?
Nope.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Charlene. Jessica, thanks for coming in.
Jessica, thank you for what you did.
Yep, thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are important. Appreciate it.
All right. So we got anything else?
I just want to kind of hit a little bit on next week on what's going on.
Okay.
Joyce emailed me earlier. She was planning on coming in next week to talk about the transportation needs. To come in and talk to you guys about it. But she said she wants to have Jessica, not Hightower, Robinson, come in too. And she has riders to Monday morning. So she would like to get them on first thing on the agenda. And I told her, well, we could do like 9:05,
Sure.
which basically would just give us time for minutes and bills and
Yep.
be right into it.
I'm
Then,
okay with that.
along with that, our election canvas is next week, and that is supposed to start by 10 o'clock. So I have that. I have the 10 to 10:30 half hour blocked out for that next week.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of an odd
Do
arrangement.
we got to go across the street too?
We will, for part of it, we'll start it here, and we had very few provisionals, so I don't think it's going to take very long, but there's, I don't know, 15 or 20 maybe to run through the machine, but it should be a fairly quick canvas this time.
Okay.
Very low turnout. I mean, horribly low turnout for the election, like less than 10% of our voters voted that day. But we'll run through that. I'm doing my post-election audit tomorrow morning. And that's where we had to randomly select 2 races and 2 precincts to have a board come in and hand count and compare that to the machine results. And we actually, the random selection came up. One was in Blue Mound and one was in Parker. So neither one of them are going to be very many ballots, but they can go through and hand count them and make sure they match our results. So I'll have that result to show you at the canvas too, because I'm required to show you that, yes, we did an audit and here were the audit results. So all that's coming up on next week's I really don't have anything else on the agenda next week yet, but it's early in the week. We'll probably have a few things come up. Other than that, this Thursday is Veterans Day, so we'll be closed that day.
That's right. And Wednesday's the Marine's birthday, 246 years, so happy birthday to all the Marines out there.
Didn't know you were that old.
I am. Feel it. You got anything?
No.
Any birthday wishes or anything? That's Marine's hymn, right? There you go. I can do it. I'll make a motion, though. We adjourn. Moving second, all in favor? Aye.
Some K-Camp, some chapsticks, and
You got it.
in the bag to them.
Mine's kind of getting full. Mine's kind of getting full.
Oh, I know. Looks like there's a snack here if you need some before you go to.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Good job.
Need some of those?
Yeah. That's the end.
I can't ride with those. I have to push too hard and I can't do it.
There you go. K-Camp chapstick. Chapstick.
We are.